It's usually like a 4 to 5 hour test in general. It's hardcore. I have never been more anxious in my whole life about something. I hope I'm good. I'm about 3 weeks out from my orange belt test. Overall, the plan to be better in shape and also in general to like eat better and stuff, that has gone well. That part of the plan is going pretty well. I do feel like I've gained some muscle. I do feel like I have gotten better in shape. The stressful part now is that I'm trying desperately, frantically to regain a bunch of the technique that I had learned over like a year. I'm trying to regain all of that in the course of like 3 months. I've been going to class like crazy. Honestly, I've been kind of sacrificing some social stuff because I am trying to go to 2 hours every other day-ish, at least, during school. And so now school's out and I'm gonna be trying to go at least every day. I don't know if every day is realistic. I also have to rest sometimes. But trying to cram basically before this exam is really stressful. I asked about it. The reason that they make these tests so long is so that when you are under stress, you are still able to prove that you know a skill. It makes perfect sense. If you are teaching a group of people self-defense techniques and they can't perform those techniques under duress, it's not really self-defense. It's more of a showing off fight skill. I definitely feel better than I did about a week ago. I still feel really unprepared, and honestly, I can't tell how much of that is my anxiety or like self-consciousness and how much of it is actually not being prepared. I'm kind of just trusting my instructors, and if they say that I'm good, I hope I'm good.
It is June 12th. I have about 8 days until my test. I have an official partner now, so we are doing some extra practice. I'm doing a lot of review. So it is 1 week until the orange belt. Yesterday I did about 5 hours of exercise. I had a break in the middle. It was definitely a lot of work and I was really tired at the end. My hamstrings today are really, really sore. I had a really bad cramp toward the end of class yesterday. That's just what happens when you push your body to its limits. So 5 days until the test. Today's the last day that I'm gonna work out. I have 2 classes tonight and then I'm gonna be taking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday all off so that I can be rested. Oh, I still have not gotten on the protein enjoyment train. 1 day until the test. I'm eating pasta for the first time in a while. I'm packing myself full of energy for a very long day tomorrow. Honestly, coordinating, having friends there and having people to film and having a Zoom call where my parents are coming in, all of that was a nightmare. I hope you guys know that I love you very much. The day of the test. Right now, I'm just gonna drink some coffee and eat a light breakfast. I have to get my hair braided so that it doesn't just like come undone during the test, and then I'm off. So I have to do this before I actually get there because I am running a couple minutes late. I need to get there by 11:30 and it is 5 minutes until then. The nerves set in a little bit this morning. I feel a little bit like, not nauseous, but there are some butterflies today. It's really weird because I know I'm gonna do well and I know that I've prepared well and like I'm hydrated. I've eaten well. I ate a lot of carbs last night so that I could burn them all today. I don't know what's making me so nervous, except for maybe like judgment from others. I've done everything. I just sort of have to hope that it works out and focus on my test. This is the day after the test. I don't know how to describe that feeling that I had during that test. Looking back through the video, I realized that it doesn't show. It doesn't show how exhausted I was. My body was tired, obviously. There were times when I tried to stand up and my legs wouldn't do it, or my arms went numb because I was holding them up for so long or because I had been using them so much. I couldn't feel my feet because my shoes were a little bit small. Like there were times where my body just didn't cooperate.
Pretty early on, I realized I needed to pace myself because it was so physically exhausting and draining, and I knew that if I lost my focus, I would not be able to finish the test. I started to, complain that I was tired or talk about how I need a break or, man, I could use some water right now, or any of these like little phrases or kind of toss away things that I was doing. And I had a conversation with one of my instructors during a break. He told me some advice that I will remember for a long time, I think. I can push myself physically. Like, I am in pretty good shape and I know what I'm doing. And most of this at this point was muscle memory. So a lot of this was a physical battle of, can I get through it? And something that he said was that if you start making a face, an expression, or the mindset of talking about how tired you are, talking about how drained you are, and making what he was calling a victim face, it brings you down. And he encouraged me, he said, push yourself. But what you should expect from yourself right now is to stop making the victim faces. He basically was telling me that I needed to continue to act aggressive, continue to focus, because in an actual self-defense situation, if I'm getting attacked and I react, that makes it worse. And there's some legal things to that too, right? If I react, then there is some ground to stand on for whoever is attacking me. There are things that I need to be able to control, and my expression is a really important one. There's this mindset shift now that hasn't gone away yet, of not just pushing through something with like a brave face, but really sitting with yourself and putting on that brave face because you're brave. You're not faking it because you're doing that thing. You are dedicating yourself to that moment, and you are, it's so hard to explain. It changed the test for me. We tested for about 6 hours. I think it went longer than that. I don't really remember, but most tests don't go that long. And when I finished the test, after giving myself the motivation and forcing myself to take away that victim face, it impacted the way that I felt about the test when I was done. Because I didn't feel like I faked it. I didn't feel like I ran through the motions or that I could barely skimmed by. I really felt like I had put everything out there and that I had done everything I could. Toward the end, when we did more stuff on the ground, I really started to fall apart. I was in pain. My whole body was out of energy, and no matter what I did, no matter how many electrolytes I drank or how many, quick burning carbs I ate, I was still tired. It didn't change much. So I just was gone. I was on autopilot almost, and it wasn't pretty. These are not attractive videos, especially with like the giant mouth guard in. Like, it's not aesthetic, but if I wanted to look pretty, that's not where it would be. There's this clip that I'm gonna show where I was so tired and emotional. I must have started saying I can't probably 15 times, but every time I started the word, it felt like I couldn't finish it. It felt like I was stopping myself from doing something if I actually said I can't do this, or I can't keep going, or anything like that. I'm not trying to lean into a cliche, right? Like, I'm not trying to say don't give up. I'm not trying to say push through it. I'm not trying to say, don't act like you're having a hard time, because all of those things are valid. I think that the idea that in this moment I wanted to give up made me feel angry. Like, it made me feel upset. And right then, I think, is when my body said, hey, you need to take a break. My hamstrings started to cramp up and my hip flexor started to cramp up, which was a lot more alarming. Even though it was 6 hours long, it felt like just one really bad hour. I came out the other side of it feeling like I had really accomplished something. It was a big deal. It was a rite of passage. It was a shift. I can solidly say that I feel different after all of that. Like, that was a real thing that I accomplished and honestly kind of nailed, low key. And I'm really proud of myself because I did that. And I passed and got my orange belt. Overall, I went through 2 t-shirts. I used every piece of equipment that I own. We used every single pad in the building. I went through a bottle of Pedialyte, which I probably should have had more of, and 3 bottles of water. I had some Oreos, some peanut butter crackers, and at the end, I really felt like I couldn't eat anything. But when I woke up this morning, I was starving. I was like, oh my God, I need to eat right now. I couldn't sleep for hours. I literally eventually had to get up and take some ZQuil because I couldn't sleep. I was wired. And now today, of course, I'm very sore, so I'm gonna rest. It's kind of awesome to realize that you change after a single event like that. It feels like I've gained something. That's pretty cool.
Good, Sheila. Keep fighting, Sheila. Good. You're in the hand. Good work.